Today, I'll be ranking all these upcoming ASYMs on Roblox of where they place compared to other games based on their potential and how much hype they have behind them. Also, some of the other games on Roblox, which I also decided to throw in here, cause why not? And why don't we compare them to, the competition that we already have coming up. But a lot of interesting things happen in this video, and I learned a lot about some ASYM games I didn't really know about before. But we are nearly just 1,000 away from 5K. So make sure to subscribe to be one of my first 5K subscribers. I would really appreciate it. But without further ado, let's get right into it. But first up, Nightmare Collection. A lot of you guys have been telling me about this in the comment section below. And it's looking cool. I mean, a Kirby ASYM. Kirby was always kind of scary. Like, he literally just eats people, which is a little bit horrifying. And I can understand how you can make this into an ASYM. I really wonder if, the Kirby is going to be able to, absorb the survivor's abilities? I don't know. That's kind of what Kirby was known for. But regardless, I'll keep this one brief since I don't know a whole lot about the game. And it's kind of early in development. I'll put this one in high potential because it has very high potential. And, yeah, I feel like that spot fits it really well. But next up, we have Blockbound. Now, this is one of the bigger upcoming games. A lot of people say it will take over some of the bigger ASYMs like Forsaken and some of those, big titles that are up there. Blockbound has a lot of hype behind it, and honestly, the game does look pretty clean. I mean, Minecraft was a part of a lot of our childhoods, so I feel like I gotta put this one in the most hype. Because, this game has a lot of hype behind it. It's one of the bigger games that are coming out. So overall, I think a lot of people are going to like Blockbound when it releases, and everything looks really clean so far. They're really taking their time and making everything very, very polished. So this is definitely going in the most hype area. Next up is Rewritten Timelines. And Rewritten Timelines is one of the only ASYM Undertale games that are coming to Roblox. And I recently, got to see what this game is packing. And they've already got a lot of cool animations done, a lot of emotes. They kind of know what they're going to do with the game, and they got a direction set up. So I'm going to say this game definitely is really hype as one of the only upcoming Undertale games in the ASYM scene. Certainly very interesting. I really am excited to see what they're going to do with killers, because they do got a lot of potential there. Hopefully it's not 1,000 overpowered sands that can instantly kill everybody, because that. Undertale has a lot of those. And next up, I actually got two for Pillar Chase here. I got one of the original game and one of the recode that is coming up. Now, I haven't actually mentioned the recode a whole lot because Pillar Chase is kind of it's set alone thing right now. And the recode's going to be, of course, a giant recode of the game. But I wouldn't consider it an upcoming ASYM. It's more just a really, really big update. So I haven't really covered it in any of my videos. But despite this, I actually did play Pillar Chase before I officially started playing ASYMs more often, which I moved to Forsaken. But originally, Pillar Chase 1, it was fun, but I'd be lying to you if I told you that it's not the most fun experience. A lot of people will tell you it's very survivor-sided, and through my personal experience with it, this is before there were any roles. All you really did was do tasks, and the only fun part of the game was playing killer. So, I feel like original Pillar Chase is definitely going to be mid. But the Pillar Chase recode, on the other hand, this has maybe possibly the most potential out of any of the ASYMs here, just because it was the original ASYM game on Roblox, and because they just have so many different killers from so many different genres, so they have the potential to bring in so many different fan bases. And honestly, I think the recode I'm going to put in most hype. It probably is one of the most hyped up coming ASYMs, and it's going to be up there with the bigger games for sure, as it was the original, and this will be its debut, its comeback, that's going to make it so much better, and I honestly have a lot of hope for this game. If they just tweaked a few things, they could easily make this go from what it was when I played it to something extremely amazing. But next up, we got Sunken Echoes. And I feel like Sunken Echoes is kind of a really high potential game. I do love Sunken Echoes. It's looking really, really cool, and SpongeBob, of course, is a really cool concept of killers, as it also was a part of our childhood, and there were a few creepypastas back in the day with, SpongeBob characters, especially the Red Mist Squidward, which I'm sure terrified us all as kids. But this game definitely has a lot of high potential, but since it's early in development, I can't really justify putting it up into a higher spot, just because, it has a lot of potential, and I think it will easily make its way up the list, but as for now, I gotta kind of keep it right there. Forsaken. Now, if you asked me from about a year ago, I probably would put Forsaken at the most hype. But as time has gone on, updates have taken literal months, and all the drama, which I don't want to get into, Forsaken feels a lot more like kind of boring and bland. The gameplay loops are repetitive, and even after the game being out for as long as it's been out, there has been no alternative game modes. Forsaken is sitting on a gold mine of possibilities, but they really never use any of that possibility at all. They rarely update the game, and even though the community does 80% of the work when it comes to skins and concepts, they still don't put like 80% of that in the game. So I'm going to put Forsaken in mid, although it is the most, polished ASYM here, that by no means mean that it has any passion behind it, at least not anymore, and it's kind of a corpse of what it used to be, at least in my eyes. Next up is Eternal Nightmare. Now this is one of the most hyped upcoming, Sonic EXE games. It's up there with the two other games I talk about all the time, that being Oblivion and, Fractured Genesis, which I don't really talk about nearly as much. But Eternal Nightmare, I feel like it at least earns a spot up there with where I'll be putting the other games. The other Sonic EXE games, which will probably be in, hype. Sonic EXE fandom is really amazing, and they have a lot of really cool concepts. And overall, I feel like any one of these big three games can take the large amount of the player base that Outcome Memories left behind. And honestly, I really can't wait to see what happens. Eternal Nightmare's already got a lot of cool concepts, and a lot of horrifying concepts, which I can't wait to be hunted. No, actually, no. I can't wait. I could definitely wait to be hunted down from these monstrosities. But next up is Fractured Genesis, a game that I really haven't covered a whole lot. I went over it a few times. It's one of the most hyped upcoming Sonic EXE games, probably actually the most hyped out of them all, even though I don't cover Fractured Genesis a lot. I mean, its player base speaks alone, how many members it's got in the server, stuff like that. This is the most hype out of all the Sonic EXE games, and although it might not be my personal most hype, I still have a lot of respect for it. I think it's going to be an amazing game up there with the other ones. And anyways, let's move on to this one. You versus Homer. Now, I actually haven't really played this a lot, because I don't even know why I put it on the list, to be honest. But you know what? Let's just put it in most hype, because why not? Why not? And Bite by Night also has got to go in most hype. With that, I mean, this game is like up there with like Blockbound. People think it's gonna take down Forsaken, and they're gonna take that spot. And from what I've seen, this game looks extremely polished already. The animatronics, the models look like they're from like a AAA studio, which says a lot for a Roblox studio. And honestly, it's really, really amazing. So I have a ton of, hype for Bite by Night. I think it's going to be really amazing. Next up is Die of Death. Die of Death is definitely better than Forsaken. It adds game modes. It's got more passion behind it. Personally, isn't my style, though. It's not my kind of game. But since, I haven't really played a whole lot of Die of Death. Me personally, I don't really enjoy the gameplay loop. But I know a lot of people do. So I'll just put it in high potential for now, since, it's not really one of my personal favorites, but I know it's got a lot of loyal players behind it and a loyal fan base. And Outcome Memories, I don't really know where to put Outcome Memories. It's certainly more tricky putting Outcome Memories somewhere because, the game's discontinued. It's not really an upcoming ASYM like a lot of these other games, even though I do have some ASYMs that already exist on here. It's kind of hard to rank because it's kind of like officially screwed. Like, it's not getting any more updates. But in the state it was left, I feel like I want to honor it and give it, hype. Like, it still brings all this inspiration to all these other games that are upcoming. And it's just in a good spot overall, which is where I'll put it. Of course, it's not, as the years go by, if I ever do make this list again, Outcome Memories will most likely be in a lower spot, because I expect a lot of these games to overtake it, because they'll have content development and such. Oblivion. Oblivion is one of my personal favorite upcoming games. I think the devs and the co-owners are really cool. I've talked to a lot of them, have a lot of respect for their team, and it will definitely be one of the big three upcoming Sonic EXE games that are going to replace Outcome Memories. And I have a lot of hope for it. I've talked a lot about this on my channel. It's a great game. Even interviewing the devs, I think it's really, really amazing. I personally would put it in most hype, but I feel like that's a little bit unfair, so I'll put it in just hype with all these other games. Because, Oblivion's awesome, and I really think they're going to do something amazing with the game. But I can't let my personal bias dictate where this goes, so I'm just going to put it right here at hype. Sonic EXE Disruption, or Sonic Executable Disruption, I don't know why I said that, also is a very, promising game. It's upcoming, but I definitely gotta put it in high potential because it's in early stages of development. Now, I can't really justify putting it anywhere higher because, it has a lot of potential behind it. But when games are in lower forms of development, it's not really fair to let them get, a huge jump on these other games. And even though there's a lot of games here that have a lot of potential, whenever they're in early development, you can't really justify a higher placement. Regardless, this game's looking awesome. They got a pretty good team working behind it, and I think they're going to take a different approach to the Sonic EXE scene that we haven't really seen before with all these other games, as I've seen some snippets of what their art style is going to look like, and it's certainly going to be a different art style than we're used to. With a lot of these games taking a lot of inspiration from Out From Memories, Sonic Executable Disruption takes a little bit less. It's more of its own thing, and I feel like that's really cool. Anyways, next up, Mario the Catastrophe. Now, where do I put this? I think I'll put it in hype. It's got a lot of hype behind it. It's certainly not as big as some of the top 5 up here, but it's really cool. Mario characters is, of course, a different approach than a lot of these other games are taking, and of course, I'm a bigger Mario fan than Sonic fan, but I can't let that justify where I put it. So I think it sits really well up here in hype. It's got a lot of hype behind it, and the devs are really cool. And it's looking like it's pretty far into development, and it may be coming out really, really soon, as I've heard rumors that there are testers on the game already. So that's, it's pretty cool. But next up, we got Broken Souls. And since I couldn't find a picture from him, I just have this picture of the Cuphead game, because these are Cuphead characters. And let me show you. Mugman, what happened to you, Mugman? What happened to you, Mugman? This game is very early in development, so it's going to go with all the other games that are more early in development, besides Die of Death, just because that's not my gameplay loop. And I think that overall it might be a, high potential game, and it might make it up there with these other titles, but I personally don't really know a lot about it. It's probably the game on this list that I know the least about, and it's certainly going to be interesting to see Cuphead characters in a kind of a scarier sense. Didn't really know you could make Cuphead characters scary. But the cast for Cuphead, with its villains and stuff like that, offer a whole ton of abilities and offer a whole ton of possible killers as well. Considering the devil's the main antagonist in the main game, you could probably do a lot of stuff with that. But I guess that'll do it for my tier list. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And but like I said, everything besides the mid tier are games that I all think are really, really cool. And these are mostly just dictated by their stage of development and where they're at and when they will come out and how many players are backing the game. It's basically just based on that. Besides a few which are more dictated by my personal bias, which I try to keep out of it. That being the 2 in mid and Die of Death, which I personally don't enjoy, but I know a lot of people enjoy it, so I still moved it up. But that's going to do it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.